a video a few days ago about apparently the cartel sent drones across the border, which supposedly resulted in the El Paso airspace being completely shut down. So he put out a video about that. So, but yeah, this was a thing up in the El Paso airspace shut down a few days ago. Like all of the El Paso airspace shut down. I guess maybe it was due to cartel sending drones across the border with drug deliveries. I don't know. Rich is going to talk about that, so let's get into it.
The drones are coming! The drones are coming! Drones! Yesterday, February 10th, 2026, cartel drones have breached the southern border of the United States, shutting down all air transportation and trade in El Paso. That's right. A couple, I don't know exactly how many yet, because the story's still developing, cartel drones have crossed the Mexican and United States border into the United States on February 10th, just the other day, which caused the FAA and the Department of War to shut down the El Paso airport. But why? Are we being invaded? Is this because of Venezuela? Did we respond with lasers? Maybe. Before we dive deep into the story, first, a word from this video's sponsor, Aura. Are you tired of scammers getting your phone number and blowing up your inbox with a bunch of spam? I know I am. Well, you gotta blame the data brokers that are out there. They're the ones that are buying and selling your data from stupid, disgusting companies that ask you to put your personal information in for everything and anything that you buy, and then selling it to scammers, hackers, governments. And they do it without your consent all the time. But you can ask them to stop, and they will. But if you did it on your own time, it would take forever, and that's why Aura's here. They make it easy by doing the hard part for you, getting your freaking information off the internet. Because once they see it, they boom, send out a request and immediately get it taken down. And plus, there's benefits to getting Aura besides that. Get alerts if your info...
I'm sorry, like, random thought. Do you think Rich and Nick ever get into an argument about which is better, Aura or Delete Me, considering they have, like, competing sponsors for the same fucking thing? Rich is doing Aura, Nick is doing Delete Me. You ever think they get into an argument of whose is best?
Pops up on the dark web. Real-time fraud alerts for credit or banking. 24/7 monitoring to make sure that your identity is secure. Plus you get a secure VPN, antivirus, password manager, and more. And of course, US-based support. 24/7. Try Aura for free for 14 days at aura.com/angrycops and click the link below. And in those 2 weeks, you'll discover where your data is being exposed and sold. You're back? Good. Let's get into it, shall we? After 10 p.m. on February 10th, the United States received some, well, alerts that some bogeys were in the air around El Paso. And if you're not familiar with the area, the United States Army Post Fort Bliss is right by El Paso. It's like 8 miles away. Now, it was immediately recognized that these bogeys were cartel drones. Uh-oh, that could be an issue, says some. And because Fort Bliss and El Paso are right there next to one another, the FAA and the DOW, the Department of War, said, hey, we should probably shut down.
No, here's a thought. It's like, okay, could it be drug deliveries? Pardon me. Yes, it could. Alternatively, thought process-wise, it could also be a very concern of an attack. How hard would it be for the cartels to rig up remote detonating explosives to these drones, fly the drones at, like, high-priority targets, like, I don't know, a military base or something? And then kaboom. Like, this could have legit turned into a terror attack. Legitimately, it could have turned into a terror attack. That's like, or Border Patrol? Yeah, like, you say, I don't know if the cartels are that stupid to directly piss off the military. Who knows? I mean, I threw out the military as just an example. There are a number of targets right across the border that the cartel could have gone after. They could have gone after the military. Someone mentioned Border Patrol. That could have been a Border Patrol. It could have been a dry run to practice to see if it would work. Like, God only knows what this could be, preceding. What might be coming next if this doesn't go unanswered. Because legitimately, this has to be, they have to answer. They have to, issue an answer to this. The U.S. cannot just let this go, unabated. The U.S. does have to answer for this. Answer the cartels on this, because if they don't, then
is it still
they'll
a
keep doing it.
kamikaze if it's a drone?
Sure, why not? If the U.S. does not answer this, then all it's saying is that the cartels can keep doing it, and they will, and it'll get worse. And yes, I know about the new video. We'll do it next. Don't worry.
All air traffic until we can determine what the hell these things are doing here. If they go further, if they leave, if we got to take them down, all the what ifs, until we can figure that out. And originally this, some say, knee-jerk reaction was 10 days of shutting down flights to El Paso. A city, by the way, with 700,000 residents and over 1 million in the surrounding area.
Oh.
You know what that means? Sure, Ma and Pa, or maybe your brother and sister flying in from out of town are stuck in an airport for 10 days and will have to get a hotel or a rental car or something. But that also means that all of your Amazon packages will be delayed.
Now they've pushed it. Now they fucked with the wrong people.
That's right, all air traffic means all air traffic. I mean, just imagine for 1 second here, the economic impact on 10 days of no flights in or out of a city. That size. Some would say that's a big deal, and I would have to agree. But almost as soon as that 10-day aviation stand down got put out...
The screwdriver, the reference to Amazon was in reference to UPS and FedEx, because that's how Amazon sends packages, is through UPS and FedEx. So it was in relation to that. Basically, no air mail, no UPS flights, no FedEx flights. Basically, all mail in and out of El Paso stopped dead. That is substantial.
It got taken back.
And actually, hang on. That actually in and of itself is substantial. If the cartels did this, think about this. The cartels flew in drones, shut down the airspace in El Paso, and basically killed infrastructure.
I'm okay with the Amazon package delays. My egg pills from for hims is where I draw the line. Nuke him.
But think about this. The cartels could have also been experimenting with how do we fuck with America's infrastructure and mail, yes, I did forget the alert. Sorry. Think about this. What if this was a run to fuck with America in how to mess with America's infrastructure in and of itself? Think about how damaging this was to the airline industry, how damaging it was to the delivery industry. They could have just flown them in just to fuck with them in that regard, to harm America by causing God knows how much monetary damage by shutting down the airspace over the entirety of El Paso. It may not have been for drug deliveries, or it may not have been to effect a terrorist attack. It could have been just to fuck with America's money, because how many millions of dollars did this cost businesses in America by shutting down, even for 1 day? Even for 1 day, shutting down the airspace over a major city like this is financially large. Let's say large financial impact by shutting down the airspace for 1 day. It could literally be as simple as that, to harm America in this way. Again, and this is why I say this kind of thing cannot go unanswered by America. America will need to answer this. They will need to facilitate a response. Otherwise, if they don't, the cartels are just gonna be cool, we can just keep fucking with America like this, and they're not gonna do anything. This cannot go unanswered.
But almost as soon as that 10-day aviation stand down got put out, it got taken back. Basically within 12 hours. I think it was even shorter than that. And I'm sure everybody gave a sigh of relief. Now, I know, I've boiled that down so we can all easily understand it. But there's more to this story. How do we know that the area is safe from cartel drones? Are cartel drones dangerous? Did we start doing something with our military if the Department of War is getting involved? Did we stay on this side of the border? Did we use lasers? Let's answer some of those questions, shall we? Mexican cartel drones.
Did we use sonics?
Bad. Not just a surveillance thing, although that's what they're used for. Coyotes, the guys that smuggle people from the Mexican side to the American side, will use drones in order to scout areas ahead. Make sure the path is clear. Make sure there's no cops out there, ICE or Border Patrol. And also just to have people follow. Ah, look, there it is. We gotta go that way. Some might say, wow, really? We're just gonna shut down the airspace for a couple drones that are just showing people around and taking a look-see over at old El Paso? Well, for those of you unaware, the cartels have been taking a page out of the playbook in Ukraine and Russia. Yeah, that's right.
There we
Did you
go.
know that Mexican cartel members are going over to Ukraine and fighting in Ukraine, learning drone technologies and how to use them offensively, and then coming all the way back to Mexico to show Jorge how to stack C4 on one or a
Not only that. Oh my God, not only that. How to obtain very cheap drones that you can buy in bulk and have put together by school children. Don't forget, Ukraine has gotten like the drones that they get are like made of like cardboard. They come to them on pallets, and Ukraine literally has school children putting these together prior to them being armed with explosives. What are the odds that the cartel is basically taking this tact in the Ukraine war and bringing it to the cartels in Mexico? Oh, shit. This could be the start of something very bad. Yeah, well, the drone thing is more expensive than you think, but okay. If Ukraine is able to get them in pallets, who's to say that the cartel can't do even more? Remember, the cartel has more money than Ukraine does. A lot more money. Okay, they are swimming in drug money, which means they can take what they're doing in Ukraine and amp it up by at least times 10 or more. Okay, and if they're learning drone tactics from Ukraine, which has been incredibly successful, and bringing that to Mexico for the cartels to utilize, we could be in a serious danger zone point right now. A very serious danger zone point.
catch grenades or mortars or other explosives and drop them on their enemies. So much so that Ukraine's actually doing background checks on people from Mexico and South America to be like, hey, United States, are these guys bad guys for you? Yeah, you can't come in here and learn this shit. You need to go home, Javier. And if you think, oh, there's no way. Well, look at that. There's already been cartel members that have been grenaded and bombed by drones down in Mexico. That's right. The offensive capability.
Well, no. Okay, I thought that was a still shot. This is a video.
That have
Watch
been
this.
grenaded and bombed by drones down in Mexico. That's right. The offensive capabilities of drones are already being used in cartel versus cartel drug wars. Now you tell me, do you think it's a good idea to be flying around in a jet with 180 people, Southwest Airlines, when all of a sudden a jet engine sucks up a drone strapped with C4? Yeah, probably not a good thing.
Yeah,
and if you're on a military post, don't you think that your spidey senses would be tingling when all of a sudden there's a drone flying by and then hitting military aircraft and detonating, or barracks? Now, the reports haven't come out to state whether these cartel-operated drones had explosives on them, if they were the suicide drones that you see in Ukraine and Russia, slamming themselves into tanks and armored personnel carriers and poor dudes on the ground. But I will say, if there are explosive-laden suicide drones or ones with bombs, grenades, mortars, etc. attached to them, coming across the border from the cartels, oh, that could raise the temperature up on the border. So much so that the cartel's incoming might be responded with a little bit of outgoing. That means we're sending to them. Thus taking the war on drugs up a notch to an actual war on drugs, which
yeah, like if they're actually stepping things up like this, we're gonna be seeing rapid deployments before too long. If the cartels are really stepping up in this way, where they're starting to send drones like this across the border, and potentially speaking, they could be sending suicide drones to start basically killing Americans, I could very easily see a Marine division or the Rangers getting deployed into Mexico to finally go, you know what? Fuck the shit, we're done playing around. And they just start airdropping Rangers and Marines in there to just start cleaning fucking house. This is going to be the next step. At minimum, I foresee that we are going to start seeing some anti-air moved closer to the border. I legit could see that happening, where they will start putting in some of the anti-air specifically designed for drones starting to get deployed from El Paso, from the military base right there at El Paso. I could see, or even like shipping them in from outside. I could see them deploying anti-air to the border now. Not necessarily anti-air guns. There's anti-air equipment that is made specifically for drones. It's basically like big fucking shotguns that are specifically designed to basically take down drones. I could see those start getting deployed, or yeah. I mean, there are like laser deployments that could be used to basically fuck with the cameras for the navigation and things like that. Yeah, there could be flat cannons. You could, intercept cannons. Like, God only knows what. Yeah, the canisters. But I could see stuff start getting. I could easily see things start getting deployed to the border itself to start knocking down these drones. But at the same time, there needs to be a proportional response. There definitely needs to be some kind of response from the U.S. military in response to this. Otherwise, if there isn't, the cartels are just going to keep doing it, and they'll just start upping it until they do actually respond, which is why I'm thinking before too long, we may start seeing Marines and Rangers start deploying on the south side of the border.
I'm excited about. Let's stop pussyfooting around here and just start detonating dudes, right?
Hey.
What's the point of the CIA if you can't just have a bunch of cartel heads accidentally explode in the middle of their bathroom when a ninja sword missile comes flying out of it? Mock FU. We did it to Salami guy, whatever that Iranian general was. And speaking of outgoing, during the time of all the planes being grounded over Fort Bliss and El Paso, Texas, there just so happens that there were 2 planes up in the air. Well, what's the big deal? If they're grounded, it's probably just 2 guys, figuring out what's going on. Okay, well, hold on now a second. Let me explain this a little bit deeper. You see,
Wait, hang on. Okay.
FAA, the Federal Aviation Association, and the Department of War said,
hey,
if there's anybody out there flying, you're going to be met with military aircraft, and they're going to guide you down, and then you're going to be arrested. And some other bad stuff could happen to you if you choose to not follow directions.
No, right? I saw Buff. It's a kid.
Those 2 planes up in the air after everybody's grounded, you see right here? You see that mountain time, that UTC? All right, that's a couple hours after the Eastern Standard Time when the event occurred. One of them's in Mexican airspace. Wonder what that was doing over there. So at this point, you can see why this story's getting a little interesting. We've got cartel drones. Everybody shuts everything down. The drones are taken care of. We'll talk more about that. While the drones are being taken care of and all the other aircraft are down on the ground, the United States military's up in the air with at least 2 planes that we can track. There they are, flying around, probably making sure things are safe, making sure that if anybody else is in the air, they can track them down, say, hey, you need to land. There's a no-fly in this airspace at the moment. But one of them seems to have gone a little south of the border. I wonder what for. Boy, it's fun to guess, isn't it? Well, you can just use your imagination. Well, let's talk about the airspace being cleared up real quick. Well, how would that happen?
Yeah, excellent point. And Several, he said that. I was waiting to hear what Rich had said before saying it. Yeah, there were 2 that were tracked that they allowed the FAA to track. Chances are, from those 2, there were probably about 3 to 5 more that you didn't see. Okay? You probably had 2 running hot laps checking the area, and there was probably about 3 to 5 more that penetrated probably a few hundred miles deeper south into Mexican airspace to get a really good peek. Either a 22 or a 35. Could be a 35 because if there were ground targets, the 35 would be the one with the ordnance to do ground targets. It could have been a mix. It could have been a mix of 22s and 35s. But there were at least 3 to 5 more that you couldn't see. I don't know about 8. I don't think they would have sent 8. But, a full flight, no, it wouldn't, no, it wouldn't have been B2. No, for something like this, it would not have been B2. B2 is too big. For this kind of operation, you need a more nimble aircraft for doing this. For this kind of reconnaissance, you're gonna need something more nimble. More than likely, because of the radar jamming capabilities, you were probably looking at 22s and 35s. That makes, from a technical standpoint, it makes more sense because the B2 is not maneuverable enough. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, they might have. I don't know if they would have sent a Growler. I don't think a Growler would have been necessary. Realistically speaking, with this kind of op, I don't think the Growler is necessary for this one. The 22 and 35 stealth capabilities are more than sufficient enough, I think, to deal with any radar, getting in under radar of Mexico. The Growler, I think, would have been a little bit overkill. But yeah, there was definitely several more that we didn't see back down there.
Unless the threat was gone. Well, that's because United States Army soldiers at Fort Bliss downed the drones. At least that's what some people are saying. I don't know, it's them actually downing the drones, but here's a couple of troops next to some equipment used to bring down drones, anti-drone equipment. And now I'm not some nerd that knows exactly what that anti-drone technology is called, but there are stories stating that the reason why all the aircraft were brought down was so that the United States military could try out their new laser anti-drone material weapon thing. Lasers! We got freaking lasers! CNN specifically says that the airplanes in El Paso and Fort Bliss were all down specifically so they could test out the army.
Oh, see or not, HLC's next story is going to be about this. HLC is going to be talking about this in his next video. Fear not.
Army's new laser system or direct energy weapons to combat drone warfare. In fact, the United States Army gave a demonstration of their direct.
Wait, did he already do that in the video that I couldn't get through? Did he do it in the last video that I couldn't get through? Couldn't get through it? Did he talk about it in that one? Okay. So he talked. So he already talked about it in his last one. That's okay. So okay, he did. So he talked about. So he speculated on it, but the full info hadn't come out yet. So maybe he'll do a follow up. So he might do a follow up video.
Drone warfare. In fact, the United States Army gave a demonstration of their direct energy weapons and laser weapons against drone technology in June of 2025, just last year. And people are saying that the process is being accelerated and tested against the cartel drones that are coming across the border with dope or people or potentially explosives. So there you have it. In a nutshell, drones from the cartels came across the border, unknown what they were laden with or if they were just observing. The United States military said, hey, let's put all the planes down on the ground real quick. Check this out. Zoomed, laser cannoned, potentially, the drones, and had aircraft in the air, making sure that nobody was in the area while they tested these lasers in case it messed some plane up in a crash.
You know what? This would be a fantastic field test. This would actually be like optimal field testing right here. It's like, okay, you have drones coming across, ground everybody, let's deploy, and this will be the perfect field test. Yeah, I could see it, and who knows, maybe the tests were very successful. Who knows?
And one of those planes went really far south of the border, a couple miles, And I don't know, it's probably just checking things out, making sure everything's okay. Probably not seeing the exact location where the radio signals were coming from that were piloting the drone. So then they could be like, oh, that would be a nice place to put a warhead. Welcome to 2026, people. Man, we're kicking this off with a bang. 3 million Epstein files, Venezuela's president in our custody, drone attacks on the southern border, and we're zapping them down with laser weapons like it's Star Trek. Boy, I am excited.
We have an update.
Well, a new theory has unveiled itself as to this whole drone shoot down, close down the airspace, American aviation and Mexican air shenanigan. But Fox News and some insiders have now added an additional aspect to this, and that is that the whole shutdown was caused by a birthday balloon. No.
What? Oh, bullshit. Bullshit. Oh, this is a cover story. Oh, 100% this is a cover story. U.S. shot down party balloon near El Paso after drone suspicion. Now, this is a fucking cover story. 100%. I'm not saying I'm not saying that Fox made this up. I'm saying this was the reason that was fed to Fox. It's bullshit. 100%, this is just basically obfuscate what they're actually doing. Yeah, there's no fucking way that they're scrambling two birds for a party balloon. No shot.
Some swamp gas reflected off of Venus onto a weather balloon.
Well, you know what they say. A person is smart, people are dumb, stupid, panicky animals, and you know it. Oh, if Pennywise was there, I think we're gonna need more than an F-35.
I'm not kidding. Now, this hasn't been confirmed yet outwardly by the FAA, the DOW, or CBP, Customs and Border Patrol, but here's the skinny of this new angle that this story has taken. CBP, Customs and Border Patrol, was given one of these awesome anti-drone devices from the Department of War. Boom, pictured here. Now, I don't know if it's this exact model, but potentially. You get what I'm getting at, right? Focused laser beam, microwaves, thing on a battery, easily movable on the back of a vehicle, likely being used.
Wait, read the headline. According to Fox News, the high-energy counter-drone laser was in the possession of the Department of Homeland Security's CBP, and it was used to mistakenly shoot down a birthday balloon near El Paso, Texas. Mistakenly shoot down a birthday balloon.
So that was a fucking lie.
No fucking shot. No fucking shot. This is a cover story that is being fed to all the media. I fucking guarantee it.
So CBP gets this from Secretary Hegseth in the Department of War, and they say, hey, here you go, test it out, use it. But what CBP doesn't do is they don't tell NORTHCOM, Northern Command from the United States military, which is in charge of North America, its defense, etc. Which, if you're using anti-drone technology, literally a military weapon on loan to you, you probably want to tell the United States military command in charge of that area, hey, we're going to be using this in here. Now maybe, of course, you could say Pete Hegseth could have told another general to tell the other generals, and then that's how they would have known. Sure, but the FAA wasn't notified either. So we've got CBP zapping a birthday balloon that just flew up over the city without letting NORTHCOM or the FAA know, hey, we've got this thing, we're going to be doing operations with it, just as a heads up. And then when it zaps the balloon, NORTHCOM and the FAA go, holy what the was that?
Alert! Enemy detected! Move now! Moving out! The lines are down! We need backup!
A retreat of officers sitting themselves. I fucking love it. Oh, I fucking love it.
So what do you do when shit's getting shot out of the air and you don't know what the hell's going on? Well, the FAA calls the DOW and says, hey, what the and DOW says, oh my God, what? And the two of them try to figure it out together, and the best way they can is say, hey, let's just close down the airspace until we can identify what's knocking out aircraft in the middle of the air. All from somebody's potential quinceañera. So stop letting balloons off in the sky. We won't have so many national defense issues going on here. Now, do I buy this? Is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. But then it makes me think, how would the device not differentiate a drone from a balloon? There's a radio frequency coming from the drone, which it would potentially lock onto. There's no radio frequency from a balloon.
We need HLC.
Yeah, it's shiny, but like things don't just go after shiny anymore. This isn't the 1970s, people. It tracks on by radar, LiDAR, electronic frequencies that are bouncing off of the thing that it's emitting or receiving. But then again, you zap a balloon.
Yeah, we really need HLC's take on this, because HLC would be able to be much more definitive in terms of how a weapons platform or a weapons system like this would operate. Would it be hunting for not only a radar and LiDAR signature lock, but it would also be looking for a radio or like a radio frequency transmission coming from the target? Is it possible to do a full manual targeting on this, where you're literally just using a target reticle by a human eye and targeting something? We definitely need HLC's input on this. We need it. We need his missiletism on this to determine, is it possible that this could have just been a party balloon that the weapon system mistaken for a drone? I think he won't have 100% of the answers, because obviously he's not read in on this. He may not be read in on this system, but he knows these types of weapons platforms. He will definitely, once he's able to talk about it, he will be able to give a much better idea of the possibility or probability that it is what they are saying it is in regards to this was just a party balloon.
Yo, balloon pop with multi-million-dollar military machinery, laser beam. And then people around you going, what the was that? Let's shut it down. And you go, oh, sorry, it was Bobo on the machine. He shot a balloon down. Then everybody goes, oh, that's it? Okay, so yeah, open up the air right away, real quick. No problems, no questions. Maybe take Bobo off the machine. I mean, that quick turnaround could be issue, response, solved immediately because the issue was dumb. Open up the airspace. Okay, yeah, maybe. What do you think? Best way to support the channel is get yourself a shirt. This old crack house. Crack House 2.0 is under construction. And I've been recording it. More regular uploads instead of like 3 months at a time. You're welcome. Cheapest way to support the channel is leave a comment. Tell me what you think about laser weapons. If you are an Army nerd, I want to hear your nerdosity about the laser weapons, the direct energy weapons, and what are they called? And the microwaves we're using to zap drones down. And also, what do you think about that plane in Mexico? Very interesting. I'm excited. All right. See you next time, weirdos.
He may do another one. The birds in the air is what has me wondering if it is kind of what is like why I'm thinking this was not a party balloon. The fact that they put birds in the air and went that far south into Mexico is one big reason why I think that this was not the party balloon that got lasered. Cannot wait until HLC's take I cannot wait to hear his missiletism on this, to see how plausible it is that this was indeed just a balloon, or if he's gonna go, that's bullshit, there's something more going on. So I can't wait to hear his take on this.